is Allie Tippet, and I'm a senior Dominican Preacher. During this Advent season of giving and joy, we are reminded on a day like today, the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, that we should seek to follow Mary's wonderful example of courageous faith. As Jesus' birth took place about 2,000 years ago, it is often easy for us students to overlook the great sacrifices Mary made. In the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, we are reminded by the black ribbon above her womb that Mary truly had Christ living inside her for 9 months. Keeping this in mind, you can imagine it must have been completely heart-wrenching to then see your only son and Savior be beaten, mocked, and crucified later in his life. Despite this, Mary never wavered in her faith and helped guide the early church and the apostles. We also see Mary's strong faith in the Gospel of Luke, when Mary responds without a doubt to the angel Gabriel, "Let it be done to me according to your word." Every time that I read this passage, I am struck with how immediate her response is. Her trust in the Lord was so great that she didn't need to say, "Gabriel, can you give me a few minutes to think this over?" She knew in that instant that God's plans for her life were meant to prosper her and not to harm her, and she trusted in this wholeheartedly. She was willing to sacrifice everything, her reputation, and potentially her good relationship with her family and friends, for love of God and for the hope of salvation for each and every one of us. In both Juan Diego and Mary's case, we can see that their strong and unwavering faith and trust in God truly allowed wonderful things to happen. When Juan Diego told the local bishop about Mary's apparition, the bishop doubted him, but Juan Diego's persistence in making this apparition known to the people led to the conversion of millions of people in Mexico, and it continues to inspire people today. While some of you sitting in the audience are probably thinking to yourself, how can I ever live up to Mary and Juan Diego's example this Advent season? I'm only a high schooler. And you're right, sometimes when looking at these amazing saints' lives, it can be almost overwhelming when you think about exemplifying their qualities in your life. Often when I feel like this, I remind myself of one of my favorite Mother Teresa quotes. "Not all of us are called to do great things, but we can do small things with great love." Above all, if you remember nothing else from this preaching, the most important thing is that placing your trust wholeheartedly in God will allow God to do amazing things in your life. For us humans, trust is not always an easy thing. It is something that has to be gained gradually. God can't just sprinkle fairy dust on us, and we'll trust him completely. With friendships, it is fairly obvious that it's hard to trust someone completely unless you know them very well. The same principle applies to God. We have to know him well in order to trust him completely. While there isn't some magic formula to getting to know God really well, I would say one of the most important things is going to Mass more often. Whether it's going to daily Mass or going to Mass on the weekends, you truly get to encounter Jesus through this experience. You get to learn about who Jesus was in the Gospel, you get time to pray and converse with God, and then on top of all that, you get Jesus' real presence in the Eucharist. We are so truly blessed to be given this wonderful opportunity by God, and so we definitely should take advantage of this opportunity, especially during Advent. In the Gospel today, we are reminded by Elizabeth that we should be filled with joy and happiness at the thought of Jesus coming into the world this Christmas. With all the stress that is often associated with this season, sometimes we need to step back to recognize how truly special Christmas is each year. Every Christmas, we are reminded of God's infinite love for each and every one of us, and how he would send his only Son to enter into the world as a little infant, so that each one of us has the possibility of eternal life in heaven with him. So today, and for the rest of the Advent season, let us focus on trusting God more through attending Mass at least one extra day during the week, in addition to Mass on the weekends. And let us look to Mary and Elizabeth as figures to guide us on this journey.